Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk for 12 hours with no phone, no human interaction, and zero stimulation at all? Because I can tell you that I have literally never in my entire life ever thought about this, cared about this, or even knew this was a thing. Until one day when I was just feeding into my TikTok addiction, I found this clip.
Have you heard this new thing taking over where people do a 12-hour walk? And it's pretty wild. First of all, your feet are bleeding. Your brain goes to these places because we're so used to just being constantly entertained. And you just go to these crazy memory banks. This is the new craze. Is this like shutting down, Amish, full-on disconnect.
And even though that clip gave me zero information on what the whole point of this walk was, it got me pretty intrigued. To give you a little bit of context on my life, at the beginning of this year, I quit what was once my dream job to focus on myself and my dreams to become a YouTube creator. And it's been a couple months and for whatever reason, I still seem to be scared to go after my dreams. And I've been looking for literally anything to help me understand what's stopping me. So that's why when I heard about this 12-hour walk, it caught my attention. I immediately started doing some research, and what I mean by that is I watched literally one podcast and I was pretty easily sold. So from my 30 seconds of research, I found that these are the rules. 1, I have to be outside for the next 12 hours straight. 2, I have to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. 3, I cannot listen to any music or any podcast. And lastly, I'll be writing in my journal at the end of every hour to keep up with how I'm feeling mentally.
Take one day and take this, commit to this, and it will have a massive shift on your mental health, your ability to move forward, and the ability to really unlock your best life on the other side.
And Colin, my friend, unlocking my best life is exactly what I'm trying to do over here. So it was a no-brainer for me to do this 12-hour walk. And let me tell you, I'm pretty confident that this is gonna be easy. Just woke up. Let's get it started. So before going on this walk, I ate a quick breakfast and talked a little bit about how I thought the day was gonna go.
Still feel like this is gonna be that bad. Well, check in with me in 12 hours.
After I stopped with my naive rant, it was time for me to get this challenge started.
I won't be stopping until 6:48 p.m. Let's get started. That right there, my friends, were the first few steps of the day. This is the last time I'll be home for the next 12 hours. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I'm doing it. This is gonna be one hell of a ride. I wanna make a video beforehand with predictions on how I think this is gonna go. I feel like I sound naive. I feel like this isn't gonna be that hard. Cut to the clip 8 hours from now when I'm not having a good time. Goal is to end this whole thing on the beach at 6:48 p.m.
I was out the front door, and honestly, I was in disbelief I was actually doing this. I was feeling amazing, and I was off to a really good start for the day.
I'm bored. It's not a good sign. I'm 30 minutes in, and I just said I'm bored. 30. Baby girl, we got in 12 hours.
Luckily for me, my first hour is coming to an end, which means it's time to write in my journal.
I am officially 1 hour in. I'm going to jot down a few thoughts that I had this first hour. Hour 1 thoughts will go right here.
The biggest thing I want to do with these journals is to see my progression throughout the day and see how different I feel from hour to hour. If I'm being honest, not much was going on in my brain during this first hour. In fact, the first hour was kind of a breeze, which got my hopes up for the rest of the day.
First thought done, on to the next hour.
Hour 2 started, and honestly, I was feeling really good. I had lots of energy, and I started to think that maybe I wasn't being naive. Maybe this challenge isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
I love crunchy leaves. I don't need music, I don't need a podcast. This is my stimulation.
I stopped to do my 2-hour journal, and before I knew it, I was doing my 3-hour journal.
This is nice.
And at this rate, I really felt like I could do this all day.
For anyone that thinks it's cringy to put your camera down, film yourself walking away from it, to walk back to it, to pick it up, it's even more cringy than you think it is. What I really want to do is there's a place called Century City where I actually first moved to when I moved to Los Angeles. This is my first apartment ever. I feel like it'd be pretty cool to walk all the way over there to where my dreams of living in LA kind of started. Pico!
Hour 4 started, and this right here is when I guess you can say I started to get a little bit delirious.
I just realized I don't know where I am. Pretty sure that's where I came from. Bro, I don't remember what I did. Even when I have zero distractions, I'm not paying attention. It's kind of impressive, honestly. I don't want to have to go on my phone and check.
I stood in this exact spot for 2 to 3 minutes in disbelief that I really got myself lost.
I genuinely don't remember what I did. Am I all right? I'm walking back to where I'm pretty sure I came from. None of this looks familiar. Tennessee. Oh my God, I don't know where I am. I'm just so confused. Let me watch back some footage.
I looked at the last few clips I filmed before getting into this neighborhood, and
I still have no idea where I came from.
I then continued to walk in this neighborhood for the next 30 minutes till I finally figured out where I was.
All right, I found myself again. Still don't know how I got into that neighborhood. At this point, I'm about 4.5 hours in, and I'm not gonna lie, it's taking a lot longer to get to Century City than I expected. And as much as I didn't want to admit it, I could feel myself getting a bit tired. I can tell that my energy is going down because I'm not talking nearly as much as I was earlier. I was having full-on conversations with myself, and now I'm like slowly talking a little bit less. Even though I was starting to get tired, I was still on a high and excited to keep this going. For perspective, I started this journey in Venice, and after 4.5 hours, we have arrived to Century City. We are in the neighborhood I first moved to when I first moved to LA. I used to go on walks around here almost every single day. That was almost 3 years ago. I wonder what that version of me thought was gonna be happening with me today. My dream has always been to make videos, and I've never fully threw myself into it. And I know the version of me that used to take walks here every day, I know that version of me wanted it. This version of me still wants it, and taking the time to make this video is the first step to it. That's the reason why I'm doing this. It's a dream of mine that I am ready to make a reality. If I remember correctly, the apartment, I think right up here. Oh yeah. We're on the 3rd floor. I hope version of me that was walking these steps for the first time is proud. And just after that, I hit the 5-hour mark. I sat in this park, wrote in my journal, and had a little lunch. In this exact moment, I was feeling incredibly grateful. I had planned to do this challenge so many times but never committed, so it was a bit surreal that I was actually doing this. Honestly, I don't really miss my phone in the sense of like I need to go on social media, I need to like be interacting with people. It more so makes me anxious that I don't know if someone needs me. Like there's an emergency that happened and I'm ignoring everyone. Don't really miss scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, going on YouTube. After walking around Century City for a while, I couldn't believe it, but ladies and gentlemen, I have officially hit 6 hours. I am halfway through. Mentally, I feel good. Physically, I feel pretty good. 6 hours in, no music, no stimulation, just walking. Feel pretty good. It felt amazing to hit the 6-hour mark. And since I was feeling so good, I figured the next 6 hours were gonna be just as easy. But literally out of nowhere, all of my energy started to fade away. I don't want to say I'm hitting a wall. I'm getting a little tired. I just have 5.5 hours left. That's it. That's it, Iman. That's all you got. 5.5 hours. Easy. Even though I was trying to stay as positive as possible, I was getting more and more exhausted, and with every step I took, the pain in my feet kept getting worse and worse. Time is just moving a lot slower than it was earlier. I've looked at my watch like 4 or 5 times already, and it feels like time's not moving. I just need to pick me up. But I guess that's the point of this. There's no escaping. It's crazy because after being on such a high for the first 6 hours, this shift in my mood kind of came out of nowhere. One by one, parts of my body felt like they were shutting down on me. My feet are in a lot of pain and I just want to sit down. But not everything was going downhill. I think as I was starting to go crazy, I wrote this little song for you all. I've hit a wall, but it's okay, 'cause this wall ain't got nothing on me. And after the slowest hour of this entire challenge, I finally hit 7 hours and sat down for my journal. That by far has been the hardest hour yet. Hour 7 journal. I think for hour 7, I'll just read you exactly what I wrote in my journal. I think I've hit a little bit of a wall. My feet are starting to hurt quite a bit and are starting to throb. I'm starting to get a little bit nauseous, but honestly, I think it's just from having a bit of anxiety. I'm trying to keep up the positive attitude and good mindset, but I can't help but admit that I feel like I want to quit. I don't really have much else to say. That's all I got for right now. Journal entry number 7, complete. Once I finished writing my journal, I sat here for a couple of minutes. Right here, I was really debating on if I was going to keep going or not, but I knew I couldn't sit down for long. 5 hours. 5 hours left. I was in so much pain the last hour, I was hoping that was the worst it was going to get. But honestly, I just felt more and more defeated the further I went. And I started to question myself if this was even worth it. The whole point of this challenge was to dig deep and think about my life. But now that I was in all this pain, that was the last thing I wanted to think about. I've been trying to think in my head of some things I wanted to sort out on this walk and the purpose of this walk. I've been trying to make videos for a very long time, and I've never committed to ever. It's not once. And I'm trying to make this the last time that I put in this effort and make it work. And it's interesting because it all starts with me. Like, it's not happening because of me. It's not that like my videos aren't performing well or any of this. I'm not doing it. And before I can finish that thought, I've officially hit 8 hours. It was time to write in my journal. And I think with the pain and frustration with this walk, I started to get a breakthrough on why I was doing this in the first place. It's just getting harder and harder to get up and continue. My feet are just in so much pain. Boy, was I naive when I was like, I still feel like this isn't gonna be that bad. When I just wrote in my journal, I was like thinking about, making videos like this has been a dream of mine for years, but I've never ever once committed. I've never ever once fully gone into it, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly why I haven't done that. I'm like, if I don't fully go into the social media thing right now, I never will. And I'll lose full trust in myself. After years and years of telling myself, telling people around me that I'm gonna do it, I haven't. This video is the beginning. This is the first step into becoming the most ideal version of myself. With only 4 hours left, I feel like I was just now tapping into the real benefits of this walk. Instead of focusing on how much pain I was in, I started to really think about the purpose of this walk. And funny enough, as I started to shift my focus, I felt myself feeling better and better. I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like I got a little bit of a second wind. I have 4 hours left. That's it. I started off with 12 hours left. I have 4 hours left now. I got this. This is easy. I hit the 9-hour mark at the same park I did my journal when I hit the 2-hour mark, and before I knew it, I hit 10 hours. I was on my way to the beach to watch the sunset. And even though my body was in the worst pain that had been all day, I'm walking like I have the prickiest stick right up my ass. Time started to pass by quicker, and I felt like reaching the end without quitting could actually be a possibility. 2.5 hours left. That's crazy. The next 2 hours ended up flying by, and I couldn't believe I was saying this, but 1 hour left. We're so close. So close. I couldn't believe it, but the last hour somehow ended up being the fastest. My body was in so much pain. This hurts so bad. I'm almost there. But the thought of watching the sunset on the beach was the most exciting thing I could think of. I've never been so happy to see you. I've been living in Venice for 2 years now, and I can't lie, that beach had never looked as good as it did in this very moment. I cannot believe I'm on the beach right now. Normally I would take off my shoes, but I'm in so much pain. I can't do that right now. I'm on the beach. I'm about to sit on this beach. See, when I first started this challenge 12 hours ago, I honestly didn't think this was going to be hard. But as you just saw, this was a lot more difficult than I could have ever imagined. And I want to share 3 things that I learned the past 12 hours. 1. Don't be afraid to explore outside of your everyday path. You never know what cool thing is waiting for you just around the corner. 2. Mindset is everything. When you're in the middle of a long journey, don't focus on how much you have left, but think about how far you've come and use that as your motivation to keep going. And lastly, don't let your dreams die before you even start. Dreaming big is scary, but not reaching your full potential is even scarier. And completing this walk was my own promise to myself that this year is the year that I commit to my dreams. If any of this resonates with you, make sure to leave a comment below on what your first step's gonna be towards your dreams. I've never been so excited to see the street that I live on. Oh man. 12-hour ago me walking on these sidewalks had no idea what was coming her way. That naive girl.